Hey, baby, it's the king. I'll have a blue Christmas
Here's man.
without you.
Plus tax. Blah, blah, blah. Plus tax.
I'll be so blue just being without
Without you.
you.
Oh.
Hey, can you play a little bit of Santa Bring My Baby Back to Me? Just a little bit, George. Santa, bring my baby back to me. Santa, bring my baby back to I don't want no fancy presents. I just say tonight. Don't just lay it into my head. Cover me real tight. Just wanna hear my please. Santa, bring my baby back to me. Okay, everyone out there, this is not the Elvis show. This is the Fab Four Christmas show. What a show we got planned for you. It's live. Send in texts, send in money, send in whatever you want. But before we do that, let's just go straight to the top. And we love this rock. Hark by the Fab Four.
Hark, the angels sing. Hark, the newborn king. Hark, you know the angels sing. Hark, hark, the herald angels sing. Glory to the newborn king. Peace on earth and mercy among God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise. Join the triumph of the sky. With the angelic host proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark, the herald angels sing. Glory to the newborn King. Christ the highest heaven adored. Christ the everlasting Lord. Late in time behold him come. Offspring of the virgin throne. Veiled in flesh that God had seen. Pale incarnate deity. Please us back with man to dwell. Jesus our Emmanuel. Hark the herald angels sing. Glory to the newborn King. Hark the herald angels sing. Glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy among God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise. Join the triumph from the sky. With the angelic host proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing. Glory to the newborn King. Born King, born King. 1, 2, 3, 4! Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. One and all. Merry Christmas.
That's it. There's the album there. Don't we love it?
Good night. That was great. Good night.
Santa's hiding down there. What's
Thanks,
happening
guys.
down there?
Great show.
Charles Rosenay, what are you doing down there? Who's that down there? It looks like a Grinch.
We're having a
Grinch.
we're having a party here. Hello, a Christmas show. We're being festive.
Hey, Charles.
You can come out of hiding now, Charles. I just got to say, I worked out 17 songs. There's 17 songs on the album. We'll be going through as many as we can. But what did you come up? Did you come up with 32 or something?
I came up with like 200 songs by the Fab Four. Christmas songs, Easter songs. They have amazing songs for Memorial Day. It's just unbelievable, these guys.
Arbor Day. The Arbor Day songs are coming up. It's a triple album set.
I'm just gonna say,
before we start,
Groundhog Day?
listen, as great as the arrangement and recording is, the video is unbelievable. From the ring on, that is just it's award winning. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to say we already got so many texts coming in left, right, and center that I don't want to cover your face that much there, Charles, right? So I'll just move you across for a minute. I'm going to give the job of Nat, just to read these out quickly before we start asking questions. Nat, just start reading them out.
So Barbie Patterson, hello Barbie, writes cool and groovy plastic.
Groovy.
And Ray Zirkle writes love this album.
I paid that person.
And Melinda Reed says hello.
Hi, Melinda. Melinda. You know what I'm saying, bud? And again, hell. I like hell better.
And Mark Odell writes hello also.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
Right.
Jeff Rosvold writes thank you.
Right. She said, someone said, I love you. Who do you love?
Natalie, of course.
Who do you love?
Easy answer.
Hey, maybe Santa. Now, Ron, I want to tell you, you've just come off the road, right, to do the show. How great is this current tour that you're doing? Tell everybody about it and what's happening.
Well, the tour's over. Thank goodness. It's probably the longest tour we've been on in a long time. I think mostly because of COVID. A lot of the shows were rescheduled, and so we were just all over the East Coast, up and down, all over. We had a bus tour. We did a couple shows where, we did the show, packed up, got in the bus, and drove so far that we arrived the next day at the next theater, taking a shower at the next theater, and starting there. Like, we didn't even have a hotel room in between. And we haven't done that in a long, long time. So if you can't sleep on a bus, you're in trouble, which some of us can't. But no, it was fun. It's just great to be getting back, like we were talking about before the broadcast started, just trying to get over COVID and trying to get back to doing what we do, what we love, and entertaining people and performing. So, but you can always check our schedule. We're all over the place. There's no set tour where we start here and then travel and go around the country. It's zigzag all over the place. So just look at our calendar and see if we're in your hometown, we might play some Beatles songs for you. You never know.
I think you booked out till June. I mean, I went through the dates too, and it was endless. It didn't stop, which is fantastic. And let me tell you, every time you go through these towns and stadiums and where you play, right, I've seen some fantastic wineries. I've seen some fantastic sceneries, some fantastic theatres. I mean, you bring joy. Like, the Fab Four brings so much joy to the people out there now to see you live. I think it's just the greatest thing. With you guys on the road, with George Trillinger doing Ed, can you do an impersonation
Right
of
now,
Ed for us?
On next week's show,
There you go.
right now, on next week's show, an aerial photograph of Kate Smith. All on next week's show.
That's
No, we
great.
have a
As
lot
I
of fun.
said,
We have a lot
Let's
of fun
keep
out on the
going,
road, man. We
There's
had
more
some.
checks coming in now. These people have got to get some credit. Go read that out. We won't be doing this all the time, but while it's rolling, it's rolling.
Okay, so
Read that
Mark
out for us,
Odell.
Nat.
I'm sorry?
Read that out. The text.
Okay. Mark Odell writes, Ron, I love him in the Fab Four. And Richard Morales writes, Happy Xmas from Texas.
I like it.
And Ray Zirkle writes, have tickets to see the Fabs in Milwaukee in January at the
Potawatomi.
Potawatomi Casino. I wanted to make
Yeah.
sure I pronounced that correctly. Donna Reedy writes, hello
Hi.
from Florida. Hark is an awesome and amazing album. Love the Fab Four.
Hi, Donna.
Great. Hi, Donna. How are you?
And John F. Butler writes, Omaha, Nebraska here. This is great.
All right, now let's get into it. Charles Rosen has done so much homework on the album, including Mr. Shampoo. And Mr. Shampoo, I'd like you to give everybody a welcome here today to the world. Just say a welcome to everybody.
Thank you, Plastic. I'd like to wish all you people a Merry Christmas, and especially you, Ron, from Canada here, the boys, and it's going to be a great 2022 coming.
Thank you. You too. Looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Now, Charles, start now with, we're going to start now. I'll pick the first song, Charles, and you go through the rest, right? Now, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Tell me now, and Charles has worked out every Beatles song, he needed help with one of the songs, right? But he didn't explain it to me. Can you tell him what actually happened, Charles? Tell him the story.
Yeah, I had a block. I was playing, Good King Wenceslaus, and I couldn't remember what Beatles song it was that it was coming from. And I call him, and he names every song on the album except that one. And he just clueless. It was like talking to someone in a foreign language. You would think from a foreign country the way he couldn't figure it out. And then we realized, of course, it was "Tell Me What You See." Well,
Right.
and I want to do an overview. What's great is that you're not just doing Twist and Shout and Hey Jude and the obvious songs. You're getting some deep cuts in there and transforming them into the Christmas stuff, and it's just amazing. Rudolph, the first one we're talking about after Hark, it's just pure fun. I mean, it explodes out. You just want to get up and dance to it. It's fun, and it's one of my favorites on the album.
Yeah, it was interesting. The whole project was weird. Like, it wasn't initially our idea. One of the people from the record label, which was Delta Entertainment, and then later, or actually the label was actually Laserlight, and somebody from their company had seen our show somewhere, Redondo Beach or something, and said, because the company had released a bunch of Christmas albums. They have Elvis, Beach Boys, all that stuff on their label. They release it every year with a different cover and arrange the songs differently and try to sell it to you again. But they said, did the Beatles ever do any Christmas songs? And I said, no. I said, do you think you could do it? So we had a meeting at their offices there in Santa Monica, and I signed a contract saying we'd record 20 songs. I didn't have any idea of what we'd do. In fact, I told my family, I'm going to go have a meeting. They want us to do Christmas songs in a Beatles style. And so we were thinking of stuff maybe like, yeah, yeah, toys. Santa brings all his toys. Yeah, yeah, toys. And like, well, I don't think that quite will work, because I brought it to the label and they said, no, you can't do that because that's boys. The song Boys would change lyrics, which people do that, like Weird Al or something like that. But you can't do that because you have to sing just a Christmas song in the style of the Beatles. And there's people who do that, like what's his name? Bob Rivers. I don't know if you ever heard Bob Rivers' Christmas stuff. Really good. He's got one da 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 da. It's Jesus' birthday. Da 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 da. It's Hanukkah too. Yeah. Da 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 da. And it's really really good. But we still could.
Christmas also is his, right?
Yes. He's got a lot of really good ones, but we couldn't do that. They didn't want to do that because you have to pay for the Christmas song and the Beatles song, and they weren't sure if they could get the rights. So I had to go home and think about how are we going to do this? How is this going to work? And come up with 20 of them. So it was really weird. So when we came up with that one, I was sitting down. What we did was I sat Rollo down when I had the songs in my mind. I said, Rollo, go into the drum booth. I'll play acoustic guitar and sing the song to you. And I said, Rollo, you think I saw her standing there. Play how Ringo would play at that, and I'll sing in your ear Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And so we did a couple takes of them. Take 1, take 2. And then my son, he's about 5 years old. He says, take 17. I thought,
that's where that comes from.
And that's perfect. I think it's exactly perfect. So we took we spliced in the engineer from the Beatles bootlegs. This is 17, take track 2, take 8, all that stuff that we all listened to, and put that in there. So that's kind of where that idea came from. So it was fun.
It's great. Next song, Charles. Come on, you're the one that did 32.
You did your homework, Charles.
I think the next one's Joy to the World. It might be.
Yes.
I'm not
Yep.
sure the order we have. The musicianship just is amazing on that. It stands out. But I love the mix, and I love when the come-ons jump out. They literally jump out. I don't know who did the mixing on it, but it's the right elements of musicianship and vocals and production. But yeah, the engineering on that is pretty special. Who conceived every song? Was it you, Ron?
It was pretty much me. I had most of the ideas, and once we got the ball rolling, some of the ideas started to come together a little bit better. The first one I thought of was When I'm 64. I thought of that on the way home from the record company. I thought, well, that kind of, you better watch out, you better not cry, do 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 do. I thought, okay, that kind of fits. So I thought of that one on the way home, and then I stayed up all night. We had a gig the next day. I stayed up all night thinking of some different ones. One of the first things I did was because most Christmas songs, and Nathan will know this, are 3/4, or like a waltz. And so that was the first ones I thought of. I was like, what are the waltzes that the Beatles have, and what waltzes can we put, like Babies in Black, Hide Your Love Away. and a couple of others that are 3/4. So I try to squeeze those in. But Please Please Me, that was the first one I did. I took the instrumental track off the stereo track, and I sang Joy to the World over it. And I might still have it somewhere. I gave the demo to the guys and said, this is how I want it. This is what I'm thinking. What do you think about this? And they're like, well, it sounds weird, but yeah, we'll give it a try. So I just recorded over the Beatles track first, just to have as a demo, and I gave it to them, and it worked out well. And then some of the songs were so short, they ended up being, less than a minute or a minute and a half. I'm like, we can't release this. So then we thought, well, we can put an instrumental in the middle, and that's why we put the Little Child sort of mashup in there with it, which is kind of cool. The baby Jesus, Little Child. I thought that might work, so it was fun putting it together for sure.
Brilliant.
George, I got to ask you, what's your favorite song off the CD or album?
Well, I used to listen to it in my car on road trips, and I did a gig in Branson, Missouri, and they had walk-in music, which was typical Christmas carols. Bing Crosby singing White Christmas and Silent Night and all this stuff. And one day the CD broke, and they panicked. They said, we don't have any Christmas music. So I went out to my car, and they popped in the Hark album, and people were coming up at the intermission to the box office saying, where can we get this Christmas album? Because it was obviously in the Beatles style. So I like them all. Rudolph is my favorite. It's the one I like to play because I really like Saw Her Standing There.
George is still getting residuals from the CDs that he sold.
But that's the test, people. It's something that you hear in the background, and if you just hear, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas or Tony Bennett or Nat King Cole singing or whatever, you just kind of go, oh, okay. But it was definitely something that got people's attention because it was done in the Beatles style, and that's
but you got to say Frosty the Snowman. That's right up there.
Oh yeah, I knew the real Frosty. That's a true story.
I want to add.
When you go into the store, when you're on the road and you buy Slurpee, do you say Frosty the Snowman, please, at Christmas time?
No.
Never thought of that, but
I haven't had a Slurpee.
Now listen, Nat, I just want to ask you, what's your favorite songs there? What do you think of the whole album? Tell us your Christmas album that you listen to. It's this one, and what do you like?
Well, for a little context, when I was little, we discovered an album. My family discovered an album called Xmas the Beatmas by the Rubber Band, I believe. Mm-hmm. And after that, we looked for other albums that were similar, and that's how we ended up finding out about the Fab Four and their Beatle covers of Christmas songs. And there's so many off of this track list that I have such a soft spot for that I grew up listening to. As far as a favorite goes, that'd be hard for me to determine, but all I can say is that the majority of the songs on the album, I can't help but think of going through like the drive-through Christmas lights at wintertime. I can't help but think of seeing those visuals whenever I hear a lot of these songs. So I guess that's my answer. I'd have to think about which one is actually my favorite overall. It's really hard to determine because there's so many good ones, but overall, that's my impression.
That's fantastic. Now, Ed, I love your background there. Just move your head for a minute. Let's see how great that is. You've outdone me today, right? What's that? The Partridge Family Christmas album?
Christmas card, yes.
Oh.
Someone told me you're a big Partridge Family
I recognize that. We have the album.
Come on, let's get happy. Now listen.
Jingle, jingle all of the way.
Tell us about the Hark album, Ed. Come on.
Well, I only heard it the first time today, and I really enjoyed that Hark song. I thought it was terrific, and I'm really looking forward to delving into the whole thing.
That's good. Honesty's the best policy. Ron, I got to tell you, the way you've done it, as I said, to make it flow and make these songs really stand out, when I'm listening to the singing and I'm listening to the Beatles in the background, right, the music going, then I saw her standing, and you're singing, it just like flows. All the words from all the songs, I personally don't know how you made them fit. To me, that's genius right there.
I have to say on the Hark song that it does sound a little bit punk-esque, like a little bit of Ramones influence there.
Yeah, a little bit.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, we were having trouble with the vocal, and just somebody said sing it harder, so I sang it harder. That was hard to do actually. What Plastic said is the idea was that maybe while they were recording Please Please Me or I Saw Her Standing There, that they accidentally just started to sing a Christmas song. And so we tried to, whatever instruments they were holding, whatever, they were in the studio recording it, so we tried to look at it that way. Like, what if Paul just busted into, Santa Claus is Coming to Town while they're recording When I'm 64, so.
And you know what? It works. Now, Nathan, what do you want to say about the album?
Well, Ron, do you and the Fab Four ever perform any of these songs live in your shows? Like at least one of them at Christmas?
Yeah, we do Rudolph. We tried a couple others. There's been talk about us doing like a full Christmas show, but some of the songs are a little difficult to pull off. It's kind of hard to explain. Like, I'm playing a lot of the instruments on there. Like, a lot of times it was just easier for me to play the bass than it was to show Artie the bass, but he played bass on a lot of it. But like, it was like, you know what, just let me do it. We'll talk about it later, and we'll see if we ever need to play them live. But we do Rudolph and a couple other songs. We're talking about it, and we've been talking about it for a long time. Next year is the 20th anniversary of that record. What do you think of that?
Wow.
20 years.
Wow.
So it's
That's
just,
what
it's
it
weird.
was when you're having fun, doesn't it, Ron? But I also want to
Yeah,
say,
it sure does.
Nathan said to me, why don't they do a show about it? And I said to him, you can ask Nathan, I said, those songs are too difficult to play live. And I said, you know what I think they should do? They do a set of videos of every song, put it together, whether that be a DVD and you buy it, and then new videos of the songs, and that way you've got it permanently. You put it in your TV player or DVD player or Blu-ray, whatever it is, and you
Right.
get to enjoy the real Christmas feeling of watching the Fab Four in different clips to the songs. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's certainly a chance of that. It's so difficult to do like literally anything else, considering that we're always the Beatles every single weekend. So COVID was the only chance we got to sit around and do nothing, which was nice. But yeah, that would be a lot of fun. We talked about a couple other videos too, because obviously there's videos that go along with the Beatles songs that are famous that we could do with the Christmas songs as well. But I don't know, maybe a combination of those things: a live show, regular Beatles songs, video, some live interaction or something. We've talked about it for a while.
So
Ron?
DVD now, Charles, I'm going to go back to you because Charles hasn't told you the full story, all right? I said, Charles, what are you doing? He goes, I'm working on the Fab Four songs. I said, yeah, okay, let's FaceTime for 5 minutes. He goes, no, I'm deep in this work. I go, how many songs you got? You got 17? He goes, what are you talking about? I got 32, but I can't work out one song. And I said, what are you talking about? What's your question? And by the time he explained it 3 times to me, I got it when he said, this is the song. What Beatles song is it? And I'm thinking the Beatles song that you've done on the Christmas album, not the real Beatles song where it's taken from. And as soon as he explained himself the 3rd time and he was killing himself laughing, I go, tell me what you see.
Yeah,
I go,
yeah,
that's the Beatles song.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Christmas
I want that
dunce-
hat.
my Christmas dunce cap right now. That's what I'm taking. on.
I like
So,
it. It's a spring.
Ron, I wanted to ask you a question. Being in a Beatles tribute band, I think I read it from Artie, but is it true that you guys have like 4 sets of the same instruments wherever you travel?
Yeah, because our tours are so sort of sporadic. We'll be on the West Coast one day and fly to the East Coast the next day. The gear can't get there in time, so we do have 4 sets of gear hopscotching around the country so that, when we get there, the gear is already there. So, yeah.
That question was killing me because I thought I read it right, but I thought,
Yeah.
okay, they really have 4 different sets that I would have read.
Yeah.
My last question is, where does a Beatles tribute band get a Kahili ring for Ringo?
Kylie! I don't know. You'd have to ask. I mean, every Ringo's, I know Rollo has a couple. I don't know. You just have to keep looking.
I've never seen one. Never.
Yeah, some guys have custom made them, so I don't really know. Yeah, you just have to keep looking.
Do you paint Rollo red? Do you ever paint him red?
I'd like to a couple times.
And you know what? I just love George with you guys. George, you just do so great. You make me laugh.
Don't tell him that. Then we'll have to pay him.
And I love the coat hanger, George. That cracks me up.
Thank you. I wanted to invite everybody. I think Charles is my new Facebook friend, and I do these live broadcasts from backstage wherever we were. I did a couple in Colorado, and wherever we are on the road to give folks a little peek into our life backstage on the road with the Fab Four, and we get a lot of great comments. And but I always plug the website and urge people, especially Beatle fans, if you love the Beatles music, you owe it to yourself when the Fab Four comes to your town, and they will, to come out to a live performance and see the Fab Four.
Ron,
That's
just one more
exactly what I
question.
want to say. Now I've got to keep these texts going because they're great Merry Christmas texts from people that are feeling the Fab Four, and we've got to express that. Now, Nat, keep reading these because these are fantastic. Come on.
Okay, Jonathan Butler writes, Omaha, Nebraska here. This is great. Marie writes, we love you, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yoko Moore writes, Merry Christmas.
Look at that. Yoko wrote in. That's great. Straight up. She came out of the
And
bag.
Nick M. Jara writes, I want to do the January casino tour with the Fab Four. Sounds
Okay.
good?
Right, keep going. Now, I've been to Buffalo. There's a big casino there in Buffalo. I met my relatives there from Kitchener, Canada. They met us at the casino at Buffalo. We changed cars. We went from Rochester. They drove us to Buffalo. And then my relatives met us at the casino to take us to Kitchener, Ontario. What a trip. And I'm going to tell you, when we came to the border, because I'd met my cousin, right? And I met her husband. I knew him. He said, listen, before we go across the border, we got to buy beer. And I go, sure. Because he goes, it's cheaper than Canada. I go, sure. So we stop on the border, buy the booze. I paid for it because we're staying at their house. And the guy was wrapped. And then they said to us, how long are you staying for? Right on the border, like we'd come from the alien town or something. I go, we're only staying here for a week in Canada. It's all right. They looked at our Australian passports and thought we were aliens.
Ron, I wanted to ask you what the Fab Four of yourself thought about the Get Back series as a Beatles fan.
Yes.
We all loved it. Well, it came out while we were on tour, so we watched some of it on the bus, and then some of it when we did get to a hotel. So we were all talking about it in the bus, and yeah, I mean, how could you not like it, you know? And more is more. It's just so much better than the film. You know, the original film was so dark and dreary, and it just looked like they were fighting all the time. Which, when you look at this film, it's just it's so interesting how you can make one film with the same footage and another film with the same footage. It's just very weird. But obviously, it was great watching Paul Wright get back and all that stuff. It was pretty amazing. I mean, we haven't seen stuff like that in a long time.
Strumming that bass, strumming that bass.
Yeah. It's really cool.
It was amazing. But what I like is when George goes, I'll see you around the clubs. Right?
Yeah.
And then when he goes, let's do a live concert, but let's do it like at a club. And Michael Lindsay Hogg is saying, listen, we'll go to the place. There's an amphitheater there, right? Tripoli. You're going to have one of the biggest concerts in the world. And I mean, quite frankly, I can't sleep since he said that to me. That they were going to go, it was all ready to go. And I said, why didn't you go to Greece? Go to one of these great amphitheaters, and instead of dragging all this stuff with you, just hire it there. You know, like, because what you've got to understand is, I've got to put it in perspective. Peter Jackson has the technology to take the film to do what he can do with it now. In 69, Michael Lindsay Hogg didn't have that technology, right? The other thing I've got to say is, if it wasn't for Michael Lindsay Hogg filming everything, and this is like, the greatest thing you can do is film everything and record everything, there wouldn't be the Get Back 60 hours of film.
Right.
So it's two different things. Peter Jackson's brought it now forward to 2021. And as I said, Beatle fans love it. But there's a lot going on, as I said. Let's hope now Let It Be is going to be re-released in 2022. Now, Ed, I'll just get you to continue here just for a minute, and then we'll get back into the songs.
From Paddy Casanova, McNaba. Am I saying that right? Love the Fab Four. Been friends with some of the guys for years. Hearts. Fred Velez loves the Fab Four Christmas album. And let me plug something from Fred. On Fred's website, freddypop.wordpress.com, he has a Monkees influence
Oh, yeah.
Christmas CD, which is really cool, which I wish that you guys could get a chance to listen to, because you guys have done the same thing with the Beatles, and it was really cool to
I
see
heard some
what
of it.
he's
Yeah,
done.
that was really good. Yeah, I remember it.
So that's Fred's message. Now we have John F. Butler. He says, hope that you come to Omaha, Nebraska soon.
Right, now,
Omaha.
read that out for a minute.
Gregory Eustace, Ron and Mr. Shampoo should have a battle of the tribute bands.
Ah, there you
Let's do it.
go.
I love it.
Hey, I just want to say, that's Greg Vutsis. Now, the thing with Greg Vutsis is he's a digital artist, fan artist. He's done so much great stuff on the Monkees. I've got to show you this now while I got you. I've got some stuff to show you, Ron, before we get back into the songs, because Charles is waiting to go to the next track, and I don't want him to turn into a Christmas tree. Have a look at this. Have a look at this for a minute. It's going to blow your mind, right? This is what he did with the 67 Beatles. He made that cover there. Is that pretty good?
Wow.
That's great.
That's Paul's instruments there. How great's that?
Nice.
Huh. That's cool.
That's
I
another
like
one
that.
there.
Very cool. I like that.
Check that out.
Oh, that's nice. It's a timeline.
That's it. And as I said, you know the greatest thing he's done? Because I know you're a Monkees fan too, Ron. And what happens is I was
Really?
able to talk to Greg, and I've got to show you two of my greatest Monkees photos. Are you ready for this, Ron? Here's one of them.
Oh wow, there you go. The fifth monkey. I love
That's
it.
one of it. Someone said the fifth monkey, but you know, you got to understand, in 1966 I was too small for that. But now, as I said, Daniel Costin has taken photos of you guys in July of this year. You've seen those photos?
I think some of them, yeah.
Okay, I'll go through them. That's a photo he took.
That's cool.
Very cool.
That's another one he took of you and Artie.
I know those guys.
That's it. Now, you know this guy too, don't you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like this one too because I support Liverpool.
That's great. That's Doug Couture instead of I think Gavin had that part of the tour off. But yeah, those
Yeah,
nice
I've got to go
pictures.
straight to Charles because he's going to turn into a tree. What have you got written here, Charles?
Oh, there you go.
There you
Oh,
go.
I guess I got to change
Losing
hats.
it.
Got to change hats. Real quick.
I've got to change hats. Hang on. He's going
It's gone
Scottish
to
on me.
There you go.
Like more Scottish one, right?
There
Yeah,
you
the
go.
Mulligan tie right there. Now listen.
Which has nothing to do with the next one, because the next one would be like a Spanish classical. It's Feliz Navidad,
Right.
and that fits thematically so much with. It's just brilliant. I just want to smile and hug you, brother, because you did this genius work here. And the other thing is what George said about having to bring in that CD in an emergency. So I still DJ and I still do holiday parties and Christmas parties, and I'm playing, Maria, what's her name, Mariah Carey, and I'm playing Jingle Bell Rock, do all the regular versions, and I'll sneak in Rudolph, or I'll sneak in a few of these songs, and inevitably someone comes up and goes, I didn't know the Beatles did a Christmas album.
That's
or-
great.
And of course, I don't tell them it's you. I say, oh yeah, of course they did. Here's another one. And so
That's
we have
great,
fun.
man. It really is cool. I mean, I was always trying to explain it to people what it was, and you really can't explain it until you play it. Then when you play it, and then they get it right away. You know, at first, like, well, why would you want to do that? That sounds stupid. But yeah, that was one where the melody was almost exactly the same. Da 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 da, Feliz Navidad. Almost is like one note off. And when I first heard the Beatmas, the Beatmas did Feliz Navidad as No Reply, I think. And I thought, oh, why didn't they do and I love her. To me, it's very, very close. But we had a chance to do it, and I thought it worked out well. So it's Artie, an American guy, trying to sound like a British guy speaking Spanish, singing in Spanish. So, too many accents.
Rob, what was the first song that you wrote for the Hark album? You
It was the Santa Claus is Coming to Town. The When I'm 64 one was the first one. Like I thought of it on the way home from the meeting with the record company. Yeah.
Wow, that looks great.
Hey, Natalie.
Oh,
Well, you
beautiful.
look sharp, Natalie. You look
I love
so
it.
great. Now, continue reading. Now you just got the right spot. What's that say?
Kaylina Fong writes, very creative.
You look like
And-
you're on the French Riviera there.
It's an apple. Melinda
Can I ask
Reed
you,
writes-
have you got a bike? Monsieur, how does my French go? I can see you riding your bike down the Champs-Élysées.
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 Right,
Wish you guys
continue
would-
reading it.
Okay, Ron McNeil, wish you guys would play in my hometown, and that is.
It will
from
do anything for
Melinda
money. Yeah.
And Mickey Galena writes, hi George, we played at the same stage under Jim at the Colorama in Florida I'm guessing that's Florida University, where Buddy Holly was. Michael Jackson, remember. You might know the context of this.
I don't know. He sent me a private email, and none of that rings a bell with me.
Oh,
I played with Michael Jackson's throughout the years. Played with a lot of impersonators throughout the years.
wow.
But I don't remember that. He might have me confused.
George,
with
as long
another
as
guy.
the Michael Jackson didn't play with you.
Yeah, right.
Ron, do you think you'll ever do a Monkees Christmas album like you did with the Beatles?
Well, it looks like Fred has one. I heard some stuff. I haven't heard the whole thing, but we were asked to do it too. But I was just like, it took so much to do the Beatles one, and the Beatles have 365 songs to choose from. So I think it was. Oh, the Monkees do have a lot of songs to choose from, but I'm not sure if. Like if we did Frosty the Snowman to, I don't know, like Shorty Blackwell or something that anybody would really know what it is. So it would be a little more difficult to do. But I got to listen to Fred's. I think that's a great idea, though.
Anyway, it says
Maybe-
now all the songs are great. What more do you want to hear? I mean, it is the greatest. And I'll tell you what, when this show's over, I'll be playing the album again in my car because I've got the CD. It's blaring out of my car around Australia when I drive. And the great thing is, I've got this Mercedes-Benz, Ron. And the great thing is, I drive in an area called Canterbury. I go there because my friends have a cafe. It's sort of upmarket posh. And I go there and have my toast and my coffee. But what happens is when I'm playing the songs in the Mercedes-Benz, there's one particular turn that I take from a set of lights and the car sort of slides. And that makes the player, the CD player, skip the songs. So you find when you turn, you go back to the start of the song and you're ready to go again when you're driving the straights.
That's one way to do it.
So Charles, how are you doing, Charles? How are all your interviews going with your great book? Because I miss you because I don't see you because you're so busy doing that. How is that going?
Crazy, right? I really do a ton of them. The book's going great. Thank you for asking. Maybe Plastic could show a picture of it. And I can announce that we're doing a sequel to it, which will be the book of top 10 Beatle lists. So I'm procuring top 10 Beatle lists from a lot of Beatles celebrities and rock and roll people and movie stars. But that one's the book of top 10 horror lists, which gives everybody, a chance to see what the celebrities think as their favorite horror list and horror stuff.
Hey, I'll tell you what, here's a book that I like too, all right? I just saw your nose go red. That's great. This is a great one. Ron, Primetime 1966, 1967, the full spectrum of television, first all-colour seasons. I got to tell you, being a first-generation fan, we saw it all in black and white in Australia. There was no colour TV till 1974. So,
Wow.
like What do you call that? Love style, American style. What's that one? Love American style.
Love American Style.
Yeah, I
Love
remember that
American
black-
style.
Yeah, black and white. Gilligan's Island, black and white. You felt like you were on the island. The Monkeys, black and white. I got to tell you about Gilligan's Island. One episode I like the best is, you know how the radio goes missing, is transistor radio that keeps contact with the world. One fish swallows it. A fish swallows it. So he's listening to every fish so he can hear the radio.
George, I wanted to ask you a question. I saw you in a video on the Jerry Lewis telethon.
Yes.
Buddy Holly, what was it like meeting Jerry Lewis?
He was really great. He was absolutely fantastic to us. We were a brand new show in Las Vegas, and we were supposed to go on at midnight. And we, as live shows go, we didn't go on until 3 a.m. So the band, they spent those hours. That's from Caesar's Palace, and they went to the bar. So the band was pretty lit up. And then when it came time for us to play, none of the mics worked. And
I remember that.
Me being the first guy, Jerry Lewis came over and held his mic in front of so I could sing into it. And then I had an opportunity to meet him later. It's funny, Las Vegas in those days, in the 80s, before it got super big, especially in the summertime, you would do your grocery shopping after the show. So at midnight, there used to be a Lucky Market in town, and I used to see him there, just run into him shopping. And, you exchange pleasantries, and he was always nice to me. And then my wife's mother was in Sunrise Hospital in Las Vegas, and she had her 80th birthday in the hospital, and Jerry Lewis was there, and he came over and had a piece of birthday cake and sang her happy birthday. So he was really
That's so nice.
just a great guy.
Aw.
Just a great cat.
So it was Buddy Holly meets Buddy Love.
Yes. Yes.
George,
There you go.
you made a great Buddy Holly, and you were in the Legends of Rock and Roll, weren't you?
Legends in concert for
And my question is, how the heck did you end up doing this really big show tonight?
well, I was actually friends with Jerry Hoban, the original Ed Sullivan for the Fab Four.
Right.
And he was also Ed Sullivan in the movie Pulp Fiction.
And I Want to Hold Your Hand.
No
Yes.
way.
Oh, yeah. And so I knew him. We used to get together in Atlantic City in the wintertime, and he would tell great stories. And I was playing in Jackpot, Nevada, which is like playing on the moon. It's in the middle of nowhere. And I got a phone call, and he asked me, he said, I need you to come and sub for me at the Las Vegas Hilton. And I said, doing what? He said, doing Ed Sullivan. I said, oh, no, I could never do that. And he said, oh, kid, come on down, and I'll show you how to do it. And he was very sweet. And it's funny. My first reaction was, oh, no, I couldn't do it. And now today I can't imagine doing anything else.
Well, Ron, you've got two of the best Ed Sullivans you'll ever want in your life.
Yeah, we're very lucky. I mean, George. George can do shows all by himself. And we always say, if something goes wrong, just do your thing. Grab a guitar and do your thing, George, because he can do anything. Impressions, sing. He does raffles, he does auctions, whatever.
You're very
doesn't matter.
kind, Ron, and I will always remember. And I was talking about this the other day. We I guess about a month ago now, about 6 weeks ago, we had the opportunity to play in Lubbock, Texas, at the Buddy Holly Hall, and Ron allowed me to close the show doing
I saw that.
doing a couple of Buddy Holly songs, Peggy Sue and That'll Be the Day. And it absolutely, I'm getting a little choked up, but it absolutely is one of the highlights, if not the highlight of my career.
Well, it was all that money. It was all that money you paid me, George.
No.
Did the audience know that it was you, and in conjunction with Ed? Did they know it was you?
Yes. When they introduced me at the end of the show, they put a picture up that said, not only does he do Ed Sullivan, but he spent 27 years in Las Vegas performing as Buddy Holly. And then the boys did Hey Jude. And while they were doing Hey Jude, I went off stage, washed off the Ed Sullivan makeup, did my hair a little different, and put on the horn-rimmed glasses. And like I said, it was one of the greatest, if not the greatest thrill of my career.
Well, Paul McCartney owns all his his songs and his cufflinks, right?
He's a big Buddy Holly fan. I always thought if I ever had the opportunity to meet Paul, I wouldn't gush and say you don't want to say the things that everyone else says to him, but I would wind up talking Buddy Holly with him.
Now listen, I just want to read this out because Churchill LaPret, Breakfast with the Beatles, right? He's been doing that show 25 years, been in the business 40 years, coming out from Boston. Now, if you understand the word Boston, that's when I'm driving the car with the steering wheel and I go, turn, get it? Boston, right? You know, I told you about that car story, Ron. Anyway, this is what he said, Ron, and I know you didn't pay him, right? Because this is what it is. He doesn't have to say how great you guys is. It's because he wants to do it, right? Now watch. Hey, Plastic, I'll be playing tracks from the Fab Four Christmas album this weekend. I'm on the air on Christmas morning, so it's perfect. Nice job, guys. Very creative, fun stuff. Look, I've got to explain something to Ron, right? I don't want to be your manager. But I just got to tell you the biz, right? Listen, somebody plays your stuff. What more do you want? Somebody plays your stuff that's a DJ on the radio. Hey, brother, what more do you want? And Chachi LaPret,
Exactly.
all I want to say is we love you. He's got a radio program on Saturday, on Sunday. Don't miss it. Coming out of Boston. Thanks, Chachi. You're the greatest.
Thank you.
Now, Charles, you've got your red nose on ready to go again. Talk about another song now. Let's go.
Okay, let's talk about a country song. Let me put on my country Christmas hat. Hang on.
Go for it. But while you do that,
I had
there's
for
another
every
member
occasion.
coming up now. Mark Arnold coming up from nowhere.
Hey,
Hello,
Mark
Hey.
Arnold.
Now, Mark, before we go to Paul Revere and the Raiders, just tell me what you think of the Fab Four album.
Where are we? No, what did you ask? Paul Revere and the Raiders, and what was the other part?
No, the Fab Four, the Christmas album, Hark. We're doing that.
I told you before we did this. The only thing I know about the album is you showing a cover of it. I've never heard this album in my life, but you want me on the show, so here I am.
Get him the hell
Yeah,
off
do
of
yourself
here.
a favor.
It's the best album ever made.
Well, we're going to send one to you.
The songs.
I just want to do a shout out to the drummer, and I think it's Rollo, but I don't know for sure. But what's interesting, of course, you know, Ron and Artie and Gavin, whoever's doing are the greatest voices and the greatest impersonators of all time. But if you listen to Honey Don't, the country song on the album, it starts with the clangy intro, so we know right away what it is. But there's a lot of great Ringos out there who play perfectly, who do the shoulder, who got the look. But not everyone really has that Richie sound, you know. And on this, as when the Fab Four plays live, I mean, this could be Ringo singing "Winter Wonderland." It's that good.
Well, I'll pass it along to him. It was all very difficult, very, very difficult to picture what it would be like for the Beatles to sing those songs. So you have to put the accent in, you have to put the tone in, and a lot of times it would be wrong. We have to change it around, do another take. But I thought Rolla did a pretty good job on that stuff. It was fun, you know. He had fun with it, which was cool, you know.
Keep going with the songs there, Charles.
Sure. I love another one I love is because you're doing some of the deeper cuts and we think it's going to be Mr. Moonlight and it's Frosty the Snowman. That was another one that jumps out because it's not just hits. What I found going back to this and playing it again, which I'd forgotten from the first time I played it probably 20 years ago, was that, wait, let me change hats for this. Hold on a second.
Frosty the Snowman would be an upgrade over Mr. Moonlight any day.
Oh,
So I got to hear that.
So what I was
yeah, I
saying,
think you'll like it.
what I found was that I was playing the guessing game with the first few notes, knowing what Beatles song it was, except for Tell Me What You See, and then trying to guess what Christmas song it was going to go into. And you could actually, if you're with a group and you want to have a fun time, and you're as desperate for fun as I am and can't think of other things to do, you put on the album, play it and stop it and have everybody try to guess what's coming next, because it's not that. I mean, a perfect example of that, you're hearing the beginning of Norwegian Wood. Where is this going to go?
Right.
I mean, I realized at that point that I was playing this guessing game with myself. And of course, it becomes Silent Night, but you would never know it by the intro, and you'd never know it by, unless you hear the album, you know the album.
Yeah, the best way to listen to it is to not look at the liner notes, to
Right.
not know what song you're going to hear. That's the best way to listen to it. They made us put the song titles on the CDs and that kind of stuff. I was like, the best thing to do is not know. You think you're hearing a Beatles song, but then it turns into a Christmas song. That one, Silent Night, is on. I think Little Steven has it on his underground, one of his compilations and stuff. Like, he really liked that one too. So it's really flattering. I mean, another one where the melody is very, very close, so we could get away with almost playing Norwegian Wood.
If you got a CD player, Ron, you just press the word shuffle. That way, it
Yeah.
never comes in any order that you want. But look, these texts are getting better and better. Mark, can you do something useful there and just read those out for me?
I'll never forget the fantastic performance the Fab Four did in SF. Well, I lived in San Francisco, so yay. Actually,
Yeah,
I
it
do know
was
the
fun.
Fab Four. I just don't have the Hark album. So anyway,
Well, you can Google it. Here's the best thing. Anybody out there, it's on YouTube. Look up Fab Four Christmas. 2 words, Fab, 3 words, Fab Four Christmas, and it'll come up. It'll come up. Play it, put it on shuffle like Plastic said, and it's fun to listen to and imagine what it would be like for the Beatles to sing some Christmas songs or traditional Christmas songs.
I mean,
Exactly.
from what I've
And go
heard, I just haven't heard that album.
It's not by heart, thefab4.com. Everything's there. Guess what? Not only have you got Hark the album, Hark the CD, but you know those T-shirts? They're looking mighty right for Christmas and beyond. I'll
Yeah,
tell
for
you.
sure.
I went through the merchandise. I love it. So do yourself a favor. Go to their store on the site and check it out. Mark, keep reading.
You guys made my night.
You guys made my night. There you go.
And mine too. Mine too.
How long did it take to record the album for Hark?
Well, I signed the contract and they told me that we needed the masters in 4 months. So 20 tracks in 4 months, and we didn't have any arrangements besides the one that I kind of thought of on the way home from the meeting. So it was pretty crunchy. In fact, so we used they give you a little bit of money ahead of time to record. So in our sound engineer's house, we just basically built a studio, bought a good mic, bought some speakers and put it through the board and did that whole thing and recorded at his house. Then we took, because we were in such a crunch to record and we had gigs during those times, we took the computer on a boat with us on a cruise. So we recorded some stuff in Mexico or in the water, and then we recorded some stuff at the Las Vegas Hilton when we were up there as well. We had to finish it. In fact, we were mixing on the day they needed the masters. We were actually still mixing. In the morning, we got up and mixed, and just ran the masters over to LA and had them done. So it was pretty crunchy.
Sounds fantastic. It really does. Now, Mark, continue reading while you're there because we need you to do something. Read that
I love
too.
you guys. And Hark has been on repeat all month at my work. I can't even read without my glasses.
Great.
Hi,
The
Lori.
words work. Keep
When
going.
the Fab Four comes to Rochester, I hope I will get to talk to them because I'm their biggest fan, as am
All right,
I.
Mark.
Hey, Fred Velez keeps bouncing back. I'll read this out. Charles, you read it out.
So pleased you like my CD, Ron. I'm honored.
Yeah, like I said, I only heard for a few tracks, but I'm definitely gonna play the whole thing. That's really
You
cool.
know what I said, Ron? Because you got to understand, we like cracking jokes here all the time. So last show, I said to Fred, tell us about your books, right? So he's got his A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You, part 1. Then he's got his second book, part 2, and I'm in that. And normally the joke is, I said, what page am I in, Fred? And he goes, 216. And I said, go out there, buy the book, rip out my page and throw the book away. And then, with the Christmas CD, right? This is the best one. I love Fred. This is why you got to buy his CD. He's reading the Christmas CD and he's telling us all the songs. And I said, Fred, can you tell me what songs you don't sing on? And he goes, oh, there's 2 songs I don't sing on. I said, great. They're the ones I'm going to play first.
It's not that. No, guys. He does a
We're
really.
so mean to Fred.
The love. The love.
It's a rough crowd, I tell you. Sheesh. Oh.
Hey, we love it, Fred, okay? We love it. Now, here we go.
Freddie Dangerfield.
Keep going. I don't know. There's so much love coming there for you.
We heart you, Ron McNeil.
Here's another
Love you
one.
too.
Read it out, please, Nat.
Hey,
Gerard
Ron.
McMullen writes. Oh, am I reading or are you reading?
Go
Yeah,
for
you read it,
Go for it.
Nat.
Oh, okay. Gerard McMullen writes, "Hey Ron, saw the Monkees in concert at a bar in Kitchener called Lulu's.
Wow.
Nice.
It's amazing.
Well, that's where my relatives come from. Good old Kitchener. Thanks for mentioning that. Here's another one too, right? Go for it, Nat. It's coming.
Oh, and Lori Gardner Child writes from Utah.
Oh yeah,
Lori.
hi Lori. She
to
loves
see ya.
Styx and the Fab Four in that
Yeah.
order.
Oh, there you go.
Right, here's another one.
Joe Carbone writes, Ron, come back to Clearwater.
Yeah, I love something there. I got to go back.
Ah,
Right, here's my friend Michael Boyce. The guy's an encyclopedia of records. He really is, especially the Monkees, Ron. I don't know if you know Michael, but it's great. Read that
No.
out for us, Nat.
Michael Boyce writes, wishing all of you the merriest Christmas and happiest New Year's Day. Well, Merry Christmas to you too.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, now, George, I'm just going to ask, can you play us a bit of Buddy Holly on the guitar for us? Just to break it up? Where's he gone? He's gone.
He vanished.
He's
That's
gone.
from Candy. You
He's
want
gone.
some Candy?
Yeah.
You got your guitar there, Ron. Can you strum something? Or
No,
not?
I don't
I
actually.
think Mark gave him
It's-
the hook with his cane there.
I really don't.
Oh, wait, that's the wrong way.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody's written something about Charles. Read it out, Charles.
Hi, Charles. Like the red nose. Oh, I lost it.
I think we all do.
I don't think I saw it. There we go.
Right, here we go. Read that out, Nat.
Melinda Reed writes, my favorite song that Ron McNeil sings is You're Gonna Lose That Girl.
Yeah, it's a good one.
choice.
I didn't write it.
Take credit where you can.
Right, here comes one from someone. Can you read this out, Ron, please?
Me? I would never correct Mr. Shampoo on the air, but Will Jordan, played Ed Sullivan in the movie I Want to Hold You. Yeah, I caught that too, but I let him get away with it. I mean,
You know who wrote that? You know who wrote
Jerry would be flattered for that. Yeah.
You know who wrote that, don't you?
It says Charles Rosen, eh?
That guy
That's
over
what
there.
he's got earlier.
Charlene.
Well,
Now here comes George, right? Hang on.
Hey, I
George,
lost
have
you.
you got a
There
song
you
for us
are.
from Buddy Holly?
No.
Copyright.
Hey. If you knew Peggy Sue. Okay, that's
If you knew Peggy Sue, then you know why I feel blue about Peggy. My Peggy Sue, all right. Well, I love you, gal. Yes, I want you, Peggy Sue. Woo.
Oh yeah.
nice.
Now
Thanks,
listen,
Thank you,
Charles. What other songs do you want to cover? And do you want to do a summation of the album now as we come up to the hour?
Yeah, so every single song, there's not a clunker on the album. And there's some songs that I'm, not the biggest fan of. The Christmas songs, and I can't think off the top of my head, maybe First Noel. There's a few that, but their versions of it have made me grow to love the songs, the original songs more, if that makes
Wow.
sense. I think what child is this? And First Noel might be. But I did want to ask, is there an actual sitar on the album?
No, in fact, it's Michael Amador on all the tracks.
Right.
And at the time, he hadn't quite picked up the sitar yet, so we used the electric one, which is used on a couple famous 60s songs. There's like an electric, it plays like a guitar, but it sounds like a sitar. So we had to use that on that. It was funny because only a couple months later, he actually picked up a real sitar. It's like, oh, we should have put it on the album, but it was a little late for that. It had already been released and stuff like that. But it was, yeah.
I'll just add two things. I love the soulfulness of the Dear Santa, Oh Darling. It's got so much soul. And I want to do a shout out to Artie because his voice couldn't be sweeter on the Here, There, and Everywhere one. It's a Christmas song, Chestnuts Roasting. His song, his voice is McCartney at its sweetest on that.
Yeah, he did a nice job on that one, and the When I'm 64 one. I really liked that one too. Yeah.
Now I want to ask, is there any more questions we want to ask Ron?
I'd like to ask Ron. Ron, have you guys put out other albums aside from this? I'm not familiar with the band as much.
Yeah, I mean, you can find stuff on our website. We did a live recording when we used to play at Disneyland, and we have also a live recording that we did for our PBS special, which is basically the Beatles' greatest hits live that we did for the PBS special, which we won an Emmy for, which is cool. And so you can find those on our website. And yeah.
Thank you.
It is like this is the first album. The Christmas thing was the first time I've ever like professionally released and recorded. So we were just pulling our hair out trying to figure out how do you make a record, how do you do it. So it was a learning experience for sure.
Ron, can you do a Beatles Hanukkah album for me?
We've been asked by many people to do some other stuff. Obviously. Not too familiar with that stuff. I mean, but there's certainly some Jewish things we can throw in there if we could, if we could definitely work it out. There's actually been some people who have done, I've heard like a couple of friends of mine have done, like full, like change the Beatles lyrics or something like that. Yeah, I've heard people do that before. It's so much fun. The Beatles music is so iconic that, it really brings everybody together, and it was an honor for us to put the Christmas thing together.
Now, just got to say, have you seen that clip? This guy did it. To me, it's like brilliant. Hava Nagila, it's got the Beatles.
Yeah.
Like the tribute band, you saw it, and they throw the undies on his head. That is like...
That's classic, yeah. That's a great one. Very similar.
That is a great one. I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
Yeah.
See, that's another one. They're singing Hava Nagila in a Beatles style. Unbelievable. Yeah. But I got to say, listen, everyone out there, you don't wait, go to www.thefab4.com. There's the album. You can get the CD. You can also get T-shirts, whatever they're doing. Keep an eye now on where they're touring because the Fab Four is everywhere. They're coming to your town and they love you. And I tell you what, you're bringing joy to the world and happiness. And your concerts, as I said, they're like so fantastic. The quality and the sound and the entertainment value that you give people out there, you go beyond what the norm is. You give them something that's very exceptional, Ron, and I mean that on behalf of yourself and all of the Fab Four and Ed Sullivan, which is George Trillinger, right? He does a great job because I've watched the clips and I've seen him egg people on. He goes, come on, let's hear it. He gets you in the mood in the first 3 seconds, then you guys jump and then you just go straight into this first song. And I saw the one about A Hard Day's Night. I saw the clips where you're cracking jokes, and then Ringo holds up a Monkey album, right? It's like a classic. I love it. From the bottom of our heart, we want to thank you for sharing your time, coming on yourself, Ron, coming on as well, George, and all of the Fab Four, as I said, they're touring all the time. They never stop. These guys are the top of the heap. They are the #1 tribute band in the world. The Beatles, and if you really want that Beatle experience, this is the only way you're going to get it. When they're playing live in your town, make sure you don't miss it. Because I'll tell you what, if you came to Melbourne, Australia and played at the casino, I'd be the first one there. Make no mistake. And I'd be wearing my Beatle wig as well. No worries about that. So I just want to thank you. And I want to thank Mr. Shampoo. Just thank everybody for being on the show.
Merry Christmas to all you guys. And Ron, thank you for setting the higher standard in the Beatles tribute band because we do follow you guys and we learn from you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys are great too, and just everybody spreading Beatle love. That's what we're all about around here.
And good to see you, George, Charles, Ed.
Good seeing you guys.
Mark.
See you guys.
And the only thing I can say is we're going to leave you with a bit of Hark because we love it. I could hear that all day.
Hark, the angels sing. Hark, the newborn king.